Hey friends, here is how I prep my evergreen base with mesh. So first you start with fluffing, lots of beautiful fluffing. Then you choose your mesh, 10 inch. I cut it at about 22 to 24 inches. And then what we are going to do, you can use one color, two color, three colors. The mesh is naturally curly, so I embrace those curls, roll them up on either end, and then walk them together. So what you see me do here is I first go on the outside part of the wreath. And if you look, this wreath base has two rings. I call them upper deck, lower deck. And I start with the outer ring. So with the outside, so I start fluffing it. Really, it depends on the kind of look you want. I usually go about 3 inches from each cruffle. So again, you curl up one end of your mesh, you curl up the other end, and you leave about maybe 12 inches in the center, and you scrunch those two curled up ends together. And that's how I achieve it. So decide what color you want and just keep going around, whether it's 2 colors or 3 colors. There are other ways to use different type of mesh, maybe like a 21-inch mesh. I will show you that in another video. I have plenty that I have done in that manner. And when I curl the two ends together, I make sure that they are straight so the cut edge of the mesh will not show. And we just continue all the way around. And as you can see, we're starting to form. Now I'm using a white evergreen base, but of course you could use any type you want. And I also have another video where I show you how I prep my swags with mesh. This method of cruffling the mesh could also be done and used on a regular wireframe. However, whenever we are adding florals and picks to a wreath, we always like to use an evergreen base so that we have a secure base to attach our stems. Now I'm going on the inner part and I'm going to follow my same pattern that I chose at the beginning, and I repeat the same. So we cruffle it the same and we put it in there on the inner part. So that slowly as we go around, you'll see that the empty center of our wreath will no longer be empty. Honestly, to pick the mesh is what takes the longest. This part is fun. I like to cut my mesh with electric scissors, so that part is really relatively easy. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm using a combination of poly burlap and deco mesh. So this is actually extremely helpful if you have leftover rolls of deco mesh, of poly burlap that you want to get rid of. So then we take our wreath and we just give it a little hug and a squeeze so that we make it more oval, so that it's not so large, but it's longer. And that's how I do it. And then you just keep on fluffing and figuring out where it's missing something. And if it is missing something, then you simply, there we go, you just go in and put in another color right there. So again, this is a very good way to use up all your leftover mesh.